So another glorious day in the Highlands, so another excuse to come out and fly a new quadcopter, and this one's from a company I've not dealt with before. It's from TYH, and this one's based around, I would say, the Syma X8. It's sort of similar, I would imagine similar motors and everything, props and everything all look pretty much the same, but it's their own sort of design. It's a slightly different design on it as well. Comes with a camera with a tilting axis on it as well, so it's got a little motor there you might be able to just hear, and you can control that from the actual transmitter, and I'll run through all that in a minute. It's got a little bit of anti-vibration going on there, but I would imagine we'll probably get a bit of jello, which is that sort of wobbly effect that goes up and down. I've done videos on how you can get rid of that, and I'll put links down in the description for you. The camera's really simple. You simply pull this button out and just slide it out, and you've got a couple of little connectors in the back there. Really simple to do. Or you could strip all this off, or not put it on in the first place, and just fly it as a bit of a sports model, which is actually good fun. I do it with the Syma X8, and they're quite good fun if you don't want to do any filming. But it's really aimed at being a camera bird. The legs have got a really good spread on them, so it shouldn't actually fall over when it lands. And yeah, it seems okay. It's, again, this sort of, it's around about 90 quid, I think, at time of review. And if there's any codes or anything I can find for you, I'll put them down in description. It is quite a plastic sort of, cheap plastic sort of feel to it, which you would expect at this level. And brushed motors as well, obviously. Got the screen with it and everything all in. I suppose it's not a bad little package, I don't think. You've got prop guards with it as well. I simply undo those screws and then just pop those in there. They just pop in, and then you can just put the screws back in. You get spare screws for everything, actually, for putting the legs on as well, and also for changing the props as well. You get a couple of spare props with it as well, and a couple of prop cones as well. Quite simple to do, and they're very clearly marked up: B on the arm, and then B on the actual prop as well, and A on the other arm, to make sure you get the orientation right. If you put these on, you're going to have a beast of a machine. I mean, it's quite big anyway, but that's going to make it absolutely huge. If you're used to flying, I definitely recommend you put them on, because you're not going to damage anything if you have a crash, and you're more likely to save your props and any other damage to it as well. Also included with the camera is a little 2 GB micro SD card there, and that comes in a little USB reader, so you simply plug that into your computer or your laptop, and then you can download your images, and it shoots video and also stills as well, and I'll show you the quality of that as we go through the review. You've got all the instructions for running the FPV, and it's already bound up on the right channel for it and everything. I've just given this a quick test indoors. It all works fine. You get instructions in English and Chinese, and they're pretty good, actually. It sort of runs through everything you really need to do if you're new to flying, and it runs through all the parts as well. I'll be running through all the functions as we do the rest of the review, obviously. The box, as I was just about to say there, the box is a real long, thin one, and it's just huge. It's like that big box that you got at Christmas when you were a kid, which I've never really grown out of, to be honest. So it is a massive box, because they've sort of flat packed it. Most of the ones of this size sort of come in squarish sort of cube boxes, because they stack everything on top of each other. This one, they just decided to go for the big long one, so it will look really good when it turns up. Just going to pop that out of the way. And onto the transmitter itself. It's a mode 2 flight mode, so this is your throttle, and it's got altitude hold on it as well, because the stick is centered. So you push that and the quad will ascend, pull it down and the quad will descend, push it to the right and the quad will rotate to the right, push it to the left, the quad rotates to the left. And then this is your direction stick, so this controls where the quad's going to actually go, and this is the front of the quad where the camera is there, so that's always forward. So no matter what angle the quad is to you, that is always forward. Pull it backwards and it will pitch backwards, so it's coming back towards you. Roll to the right and then roll to the left, and obviously you can do any position in between. If you want to go off at 15 degrees or 10.5 degrees or any angle. Flying is all about sort of feel and touch, and giving small amount of stick inputs when you start, and then if you want to get really fast, you start to really slam it around, but that's more for when you're advanced, I would say. The nice thing about the transmitter is it is all clearly marked up what everything does. The only thing it doesn't mark, well, it does mark here, but it's quite a job to see, is you've got high and low. You've got 2 rates of speed, and I'll show you both of those. Low is down and then high is up. You get 2 beeps for high, 1 beep for low. You can control the camera angle here, so it tilts it up or down with these 2 here. You've got auto takeoff, auto land, and you've got to take stills. You just do a quick press there and that'll take a still image. If you hold it down for a couple of seconds, it will start taking video, and you do exactly the same to stop it as well. Just hold it down a couple of seconds, and in here you'll actually see, if I can get it where it's shielded enough, you actually get the video red icon come up here as well that you are recording. It's got headless mode. Now, where I just explained how the quad flies there, in headless mode, if we're bound up right in this way, so everything's bound up when we bind it up, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. If you push forwards, no matter what the orientation of the quad is, forward is always directly away from us, backwards is towards us, right and then left, and it doesn't matter what sort of angle the quad's at, that always stays like that. Some beginners like it, I don't. It's something I've never really used or found a use for, so I just like flying with it, knowing this is the front, and when I push forward the quad will go forward. Especially with the FPV system on, I wouldn't use headless, definitely not, but I'll show it to you anyway when we get up and fly. You've got to return to home, and that's not going to be, it's not going to know here's home, it's just going to know to come back in this direction, and I'll show you how that works, but that's never going to be particularly great. It's also got a flip button. I always loathe when these things flip because they're big cumbersome quads really. They've got big prop areas there, and they've got to turn that all the way over, but you basically just press that down and then just choose a direction it will do it. I will show you how it works as well. These ones here are trims. You can alter the trim if it's not flying level, it keeps drifting, but you have to be a very still day, or flying it indoors would be the only other option. You need 6 AA batteries, and it doesn't come with them, and make sure you got them in when your quad turns up, otherwise you won't be flying. Onto the actual battery, it comes with a 2000 milliamp hour 2-cell, and there's a big battery bay area in there. Actually, it's really, I don't know if the camera will pick that up, there's quite a lot of room in there. So what I've done is just had a quick look around some of my other batteries. I've got a 2500 milliamp hour, exactly the same connector and everything. Slide that in, and that still goes in, no problem at all. And then I've got a 2000, but it's a different shape one there, as you can see, and that goes in no problem as well. There's a nice little spring-loaded door down the bottom there that just sort of that just holds the battery up slightly, so stop it moving around. To charge the actual battery itself, you get a charger here, and that's going to take ages to do. I will put at the end of the review, I'll put how long of flight time I got out of it after I've done a few flights, and also how long it took to charge this. I would imagine you're going to be looking 3 to 4 hours just looking at the figures on here. You plug this in your mains adapter, or if that is your mains, you plug it straight into your mains, and then it charges through the balance charger port, and you just simply pop that into there. Okay. Put the battery into the quad itself. Make sure this goes around the right way. It is so you can't really do it, but you can actually force these together. If you do, you're going to fry your board, and you're going to probably ruin your battery as well in a very quick way. So just pop that in carefully. There's loads of room in the battery bay area. It's quite nicely done. And then there's an on-off switch with this one. They recommend that you turn on the quad first of all, and the camera automatically sort of kicked into life. It's got some pretty reasonably bright LEDs. It's a really bright day here in the Highlands. It's got blue at the front and green at the back, and they're flashing away like mad. Let's just pop that there, and then I'm going to turn on the transmitter, and then hopefully you'll be able to see this. To bind, I go up and then down, and then we get a beep beep, and then we go into slow pulse, and that means we're all bound, ready to go. And we can alter the camera angle. Let me just show you that. So the camera's pointing down at the moment. There we go, you can point it down further. We'll press this one that brings it up. So I'm going to start it reasonably level. So you can do it in like click stops, or you can just do it all the way and just press it. It's quite fast actually. And you get the really annoying beep that you're actually doing something on the transmitter. To calibrate it, so put it on somewhere level, don't move it while you're doing it. And this is after a crash, or if it's your first flight out, pull the 2 sticks down and out. You get flashing LED, and we get flashing LED on here, and also actually on the quad as well. They go much faster, and then it goes back down to its slow pulse. To start the motors, we can go down and left, and then to stop them, you go down and right. I'm going to turn on the actual FPV. There we go, and we're live. So yeah, it looks okay. Slightly bright image, I would say, but it's very contrasty today, so it'd be difficult for any camera. Oh, and there it looks absolutely fine. So, and as you can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see. I'll try and get somewhere really good where you can sort of see these. I'm going to quickly go into the shade here. There we go. Hopefully that'll be a bit better for you. And like I say, you've got the camera, and then you've actually got the video as well on there. Ooh, that's sort of breaking up already on the screen. Oh no. Now it's balanced itself out. So if I press this one here, you get a quick flash on there, and you get a flash on here. If I hold that down, you get this starts pulsing away in the red, and then the video icon has gone and there's a little pulsing red LED. So actually that's quite good. Okay, so let's just start those motors. And then you can either auto take off or you can take off by yourself manually. Whoa, that camera is really juddering around. Whew. There we go, so this is in low rates. And the breeze is just very light today in the garden. There we go, and altitude hold, so I just left out. I'm just literally using the right stick for input. And that lines on there is the sun coming through and catching onto the actual camera lens itself. So once I go into the shade, you won't get that at all. There we go. Well, the FPV is not bad actually. Quite a narrow field of view. I've certainly had wider. I prefer them wider myself, but some people might prefer the longer ones. That looks pretty good. Nice and smooth and slow. That's at full pitch in low rates. There's nothing really anxious. It doesn't want to turn very quick in the garden, to be honest. I'm going to put it into high rate. That's a bit better for me anyway. But if you're new to flying, I suggest the low rates. Well, that's the kick out. Yeah, that camera view is quite narrow. And if I pull the throttle right off, it does drop out of the sky quite well. So. Flashing LEDs at the back, I think that's because the video's running, so pretty sure it will be. I'm just going to do a quick range test while we're away. I know that'll be 80 meters over there. Yeah, oh yeah, that's a good 80 meters. Yeah, and it's still all holding, yeah. And I haven't altered the height either, so that's doing quite nicely. Yeah, and the FPV's working really well. Yeah, really nice. It works well. Okay, so I'll drop that into low rates. I'm just going to stop that camera, just see whether that is. Yeah, that was what the flashing LEDs was, so that's nice to know. Let's just do a quick selfie. I'm not sure it'll be any different to a still off the video. They usually are the same. Oh, as you can see, that what we were getting there was purely from the light hitting the lens. But of course we could get around that, couldn't we, and drop the camera angle down. There we go. We'll do it like that and then come in. We've got a nice image without all that light flicker coming on. Yay, cool. There we go. Nice. The breeze is really picking up quite a bit in the garden there. Let's do a quick flip. I don't like the flips on these things, but I will do it for you. Makes for great video flipping, I'll tell you. You can see why I don't like it now, can't you? Whoa! It always seems so cumbersome to do, but never mind. It's the way it is. So. Okay, I'm going to try the return to home. Flies actually quite nicely, to be honest. Right, so return to home should be over there. So let's just give it a quick go. It is coming back towards us, that's good. So it was sort of heading back towards there. And I'm always happy to be proved wrong with the return to home. But now I'm going to take it off over here. Yeah, it's just going in that direction. So as far as it's concerned, home is sort of over there, anywhere over there. And I'll just prove that to you, because if I put it on the spot of return to home, where we bound it up and everything, now hit return to home, see, it's just heading off over there. It'll just keep going as well. You've got the headless mode on it, so let's just pop that on. Whoops. So it's beeping away. That's it. So we were bound up this way, so we've got to go back towards me and away from me. And it doesn't matter what orientation the quad's in. Right and left, like I say, not something I ever use. But I always try and demo it if I can. There we go. And then you get a beep, beep, beep off it and it stops as well. I like the LEDs that let you know what's going on. Cool. For landing, you can just bring it into land, just literally pull the throttle off, and it drops really fast, so it's quite good in altitude hold to actually have it that it will come down. This one doesn't seem to go off until you actually pull the two sticks over to the right, and then it will kill it. I don't quite know why. And the auto takeoff doesn't work unless you prime the motors first of all. You have to hold them there for a couple of seconds, then press the up, and the other way of landing is just purely to press that and it will start to descend. You can choose where you want it to go. As you can see, it's coming down really slowly under its own steam. And then it does actually kill the motor. So if you land it manually, you need to kill the motors yourself. Okay. Actually, I reckon you can fly this FPV because, well, being 5.8, you should be able to. It's quite a narrow field of view, and I'm definitely seeing jello on there already, which I would imagine actually you would tend to get. Just trying to keep an eye on both just to make sure everything's okay. Yeah, no, it's working fine actually. Yeah, it works well. And I mean low rates as well, there'll be quite a bit of breeze up there actually. I might have to put it up into high rates. And then just, that points it up. So I always do these around the wrong way, I don't know why. I should know by now and point them the other way. There we go, and then we're basically just sort of facing down. Like I say, I'm definitely seeing loads of jello there. And the breeze up there is quite reasonable. Oh, there we go. Oh, it actually points up far enough to see the props in shot. There you go. You can actually see the strobing effects of the props there. I'm just going to point that down just a wee bit. Just get the props out of shot. There we go. Oh, it's quite nice to be able to choose though. Like I say, stick inputs, you're giving all sorts of stick inputs with it. There we go. So we're dropping down, we're going forwards and we're going slightly to the right as well, and you could yaw it as well at the same time, so you've got everything going on. When we get low on battery, we should get flashing LEDs all the way around, so the blue ones will then start to flash as well. And that is definitely still pointing upwards, that camera, yeah. That's quite cool. God, nice, a silhouette. And we've got flashing LED on the actual camera itself as well. Yeah, just inside there's a little red LED going off. So here they've bunged so many LEDs on this thing. I reckon it'd be quite cool at night as well. It does look rather smart with that, with the LEDs on it. They're pretty good, I'd say. There we go. We're back into that sun now. As soon as we swing round, we're fine. We can do orbits and things. Or this gives you a nice challenge of your stick inputs. Oh, it's a lovely challenge doing an orbit with something like this. Whoa, here we go. Good long flight time as well. Like I say, that altitude hold's working really well. You can see it's not moving at all. And the breeze has sort of died down, but there's just a little bit in the garden, just enough to carry it. So if I've got enough battery, shall I give it the full challenge of going around the garden on FPV? I'm not too sure I really want to do it with this one. Oh, go on then. What's the worst that could happen? Oh yeah, it's fair. There we go. Yeah, this FPV is very nice actually. I quite like it actually. It does feel quite a sort of plastic model, I must admit. It's sort of got that plastic feel. Oh, we got, I apologise then. You don't get flashing LEDs. Oh yes you do, on the blue now. But that's because the motors have stopped. You get very fast pulsing flashing LEDs on the green when it's actually low on battery. So I think the battery's literally gone now, I think. So let's just give it a quick go. Yeah, you see those, and the actual video icon has stopped flashing as well. So we're not recording, and it's still got flashing green LED. So I think the battery's completely, yeah, it's not even it's letting me prime them. I can't even give it any throttle. Oh, that's good. And of course you've got this nice LED at the front as well. Yeah, it's pretty good, yeah. I think for the money, I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there at this sort of price range. I would have a little look around, but yeah, I mean, it flies really nicely. I like the two rates, definitely different. One for cameras work, and the other one is more for, yeah, batting around sort of thing. And like I say, a sort of strip down of it and then flying as a sports model. It's not really a sports model, but yeah, they're kind of good fun. Yeah, so, and quite robust as well. Would actually take a fair old knock as well, even though it's not really designed to be knocked. Yeah, so there we go. So hope you enjoyed the flight. I've certainly enjoyed having you along, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.